You've been lost in the woods for hours now, stumbling around in the dark. You come around the bend and see two people roasting marshmallows over a roaring fire. They see you coming into the clearing and gesture over to pull up a log. Welcome to Campfire Ashes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jess. Join us as we tell each other our originally written spooky stories around the campfire and then dive into the lore and legends that inspired them. Is it something that goes bump in the night? Is it something menacing lurking past the tree line? Or is it just weird and otherworldly? You'll find it here on Campfire Ashes.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or right here on the Geekscape Network. You've been lost in the woods for hours now, stumbling around in the dark. You come around the bend and see two people roasting marshmallows over a roaring fire. They see you coming into the clearing and gesture over to pull up a log. Welcome to Campfire Ashes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jess. Join us as we tell each other our originally written spooky stories around the campfire and then dive into the lore and legends that inspired them. Is it something that goes bump in the night? Is it something menacing lurking past the tree line? Or is it just weird and otherworldly? You'll find it here on Campfire Ashes.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or right here on the Geekscape Network.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, let the parties go spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Whoa, oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer.
Hey, Dylan.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, Matt.
All right. Well, it's the week of WrestleMania. And I feel like we always talk about, like, we should do wrestling the week of WrestleMania. And
Yeah.
what I think we've made the mistake of doing is, like, look, I don't want to talk about Hulk Hogan more than anybody else. But we should really do, like, Santa with muscles when we want to do something tied to wrestling, because sometimes watching these, like, 90 to 2 hour. Remember when we tried to watch the entire 3-hour DVD that was ringing in the holidays with Mick
Yeah.
Foley? We were just
Yeah,
like,
it's
what
not
do we
good.
talk about here? The best option was when we just reacted in real time to the 10-minute Christmas Creature match.
Yes,
like that was perfection. It was like, okay.
Well,
here's-
it was also. I thought it was fun doing like December to Dismember. a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
Talking more about like the pay-per-views and shit.
Although December to Dismember, like barely Christmassy. Like the
Oh,
poster,
yeah, 100%.
The poster was
This,
more
however,
Christmas. Oh, this is
what we're-
oozing with Christmas.
Yeah.
So this was called the most festive episode of pro wrestling television ever. Impact Wrestling. This aired on December 20th, 2007. And like, here's the quick spoiler alert for me: is I've never watched a second of TNA Impact Wrestling.
What?
So
I
this-
did not know that.
Yeah, this
I'm
was
so glad I picked this then.
this was fucking bonkers because.
I don't doubt it.
Because,
so you
like,
had no idea what was happening.
all I knew about TNA Impact Wrestling was the following things. I know that they have a 6-sided ring, is it? Instead of
They don't have it anymore.
okay, they had a 6-sided ring for some reason. That like
Also, I want to veto. I don't want to talk about Hulk Hogan, so I don't
This-
want to ever do Santa with muscles.
listen,
I'm
it's-
sorry.
I'm telling you it's going to happen one of these years. You just have to prepare yourself for it.
I'm gonna call him something different.
That's fine.
Okay.
Second, that it kind of was known as being really out there and mostly bad with moments of brilliance. And
Yeah.
that, like, all of the biggest names in WWE seem to have been poached from this particular time. Like, every single match, I'm like, oh, there's young AJ Styles, there's young Samoa Joe, there's Eric Young. Like,
Yeah.
like it was just like, oh, I know all of these people because 10 years later they showed
What's
up.
funny is you could also do the same thing the reverse. You could be like, oh, there's old Booker T.
Yeah.
Oh, there's old Scott Steiner.
Exactly. It
Oh, there's really, really thin Christian. Like,
Yeah.
Christian Cage looks like a child on
did
this.
not recognize him when he came
Really?
out. I'm like, I know Christian Cage Edge and Christian, but like
Yeah.
he came out. I'm like,
yeah.
that's Christian Cage. So
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you've seen him now. I'm assuming like you've seen at least him on AEW at some point.
So
Yeah.
I didn't write a ton of notes here.
I wrote notes until we got to the Dudley segment.
Well, that's
And
the thing.
then
I kind of just wrote down what the different names of the matches were because like that's all
Yeah.
that really
They
there
were
was.
so insane.
But I want to read the last note that I wrote because
Okay.
this kind of captures my thoughts after watching this episode of TNA. And tell me if this is because of this episode or if this is kind of TNA in a nutshell.
Okay.
But I
I'm
wrote
not a TNA expert, so
the tone of this is so bizarre. Like it's literally a wrestling organization called Tits and Ass. But then it's like 10 minutes of AJ Styles throwing a tantrum because he has to wear an embarrassing costume. Like it feels like it could never decide if it was a kid's show or an adult show, so it's just kind of both at the same
very
time.
much so. I feel like that's definitely the aura I got from TNA, especially around this time. This was only a few years after they were doing like weekly pay-per-views. TNA used to be a weekly Wednesday night pay-per-view. You would have to buy it.
I hate that.
Yeah, it was rough, but like my dad and I would just because he loved wrestling, so we would sit down and watch it. I can't remember. I don't think it was like a full price pay-per-view, but I
still,
mean,
remember
any money is
that,
money.
That sounds chaos as someone who hated when WWE was doing monthly pay-per-views.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you remember there was a point where there was a WWE pay-per-view almost every other weekend?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, honestly, we didn't do it like on a weekly basis. It would be like, oh my God, it's Wednesday. Like we're both home. Do we want to watch like the TNA pay-per-view? And my dad would order it, and it would be a lot of fun. And it's almost like watching an indie show, which is the kind of the vibes I got because not knowing any of these storylines going in.
Well, that's
really
what I
very
think.
much was an indie show vibe, almost a house show vibe.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it feels like half Chikara, half Attitude Era WWE.
Yeah.
Like it really like walked this weird line. I didn't hate it. I mean, listen, the fact that
I feel like if TNA was like this now, I would watch it. I would be like just to know what batshit insanity is going to happen. But here's the problem: is we're looking at this through the lens of, oh, this is corny and funny. I am 100% sure that they thought they were cool as shit.
Yeah, well, that's
making this.
and that's the thing. Like you know that I've talked about this before. Like my favorite wrestling to rewatch, the way that people love rewatching Attitude Era, I love watching the New Generation, like that 1995 to 97.
What is widely regarded as the worst 2 years in wrestling.
Yeah.
You're like, that is hook that to my veins.
But it's because it's so campy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so over the top and goofy and like
And this was like if New Generation and the bad portions of the Attitude Era, like the very specifically dated, sexist,
like everything that was
portion
happening with
at the
the
Christmas
Dudley
party.
the
Yeah,
Christmas
and the
party and the
Dudley
Dudleys.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
like
if that and the New Generation had a baby, that would be like TNA in 2007.
do you this is embarrassing to say, but like as a person who's only ever known Eric Young as a member of Sanity, like it took a long time for me to piece together like, oh, it's that Eric Young.
Yeah.
It's like because he's
it's
so
the
different.
beard really changes his look.
It
and I
truly
also
does.
want to be clear, I did not realize that you have never watched any TNA
Yeah.
ever. So you are unfamiliar with any big storyline that ever happened in TNA, right?
I mean, I know was TNA where like the Hardy's compound stuff happened?
Yes, that's where that happened. And that's what I was going to say is we are
Like that
very
was unavoidable.
specifically-
That I've
yes,
seen
we're very specifically focusing on 2007 TNA, and we're like, this is really weird. It's not like they got more sane.
Yeah.
Like, because somebody was shot and killed and ran over by a train on TNA.
Yeah.
Like Nick Aldis in WWE right now and one was in TNA. Like when he was or NWA, when he was in TNA, they wrote him off getting run over by a train, if I remember correctly.
Listen,
like this
sometimes
show,
people get
this
run over by
company
trains.
is
It happens all the time, Dylan.
batshit insane. But there's also some like halfway decent wrestling that happens during it as well.
Yeah, it's so every single match this night is a stipulation match, but my favorite was the Dudleys match because it was a stipulation match to determine the stipulation of the rematch. And I was like, that is the most insane. Like, it makes me think of back when Something to Wrestle With was a tolerable podcast, and Bruce Pritchard would like joke around about like everything was on a goddamn poll for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this did feel like a fucking poll. Like he always said, like, eventually there was going to be a poll on the pole match. Like, this Dudley's match felt like a poll on a pole match. Like, we're doing a stipulation match where the stipulation is that you determine the stipulation for a future
this whole show feels like we weren't supposed to watch it.
Yes.
Like, this feels like that they were like, I don't know, it's the Christmas house show. Like, go out there and we'll film it. Whatever. Send Matt Morgan out to sing or to talk, to rile him up, and then I don't know, we'll have some girls dance around Eric Young for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what we got. So the show is set up. Half of it is the wrestling event, and the other half is Eric Young waiting on Santa to arrive at what looks like almost like a 90s living room set.
Question about the Eric Young aspect of it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'd even know the answer to this.
Does he really believe in Santa? I think so.
I think so. No.
Go ahead.
At this point, is this Eric Young just a wrestler, or like, you know how like WWE would sometimes be like, this wrestler is also like the commissioner of blah blah. Like, was he supposed to be a person of power in Impact at this point, or is
Eric
he just
Young?
Yeah,
the
or
one
is he,
dressed as an elf?
Yeah.
No position of power.
Okay,
I
so
think Matt
he's just-
Morgan had a position of power at this point.
So
I
he's just
believe.
throwing a party, and we're checking out what's happening at said party.
Yeah,
and
I
occasionally
think-
jumping over to like where wrestling matches are also
I think he had a very like childlike innocence gimmick.
Gotcha.
Or just like that's how he was acting at the time. I don't know. Again, I wasn't watching TNA in 2007 either. Honestly, in 2007, I wasn't watching much wrestling at all.
That's like me in 2025, which is a bummer because everyone's telling me that it's amazing right now. Like that it's as good as it's ever been.
It's just so hard to keep up with.
That's
man.
the thing. It's like
just
when I
every day
remember
is
that it's
something
Monday
else.
night and Raw's on, it's already like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd rather just go to sleep at this point. Like,
And I'm almost like, I still am of the mindset of, what if it's not good? And I'm
Yeah.
going to sit here and turn this on and waste 2.5 hours
That's
of my life.
the eternal fear.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
Do you have a favorite match or moment in this? Like, I thought this was kind of like it was on. I didn't hate that it was on, but it was on, and it was definitely at like 1.25, sometimes 1.5 speed. As I was watching
I didn't speed up anything, though my attention was paid more not during the matches.
Yeah, I was more focused on the Christmas party stuff.
Exactly, because I was like, listen, I know all these guys can wrestle really well. Like,
yeah,
save for when you have the most out of shape we've ever seen Bubba Ray Dudley.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, besides that, you've got Frankie Kazarian, AJ Styles, the Motor City Machine Guns, LAX, who were always rad. Homicide is insane. I thought that was a fun opening match. That should have been a tornado tag the entire time. I don't know why they were doing a tag team match inside of a steel cage. It was really weird.
Very confusing. Yeah.
Beer Money, James Storm and Bobby Roode, like the working was phenomenal. So I don't really have much to say about the matches in general. Though I thought Gail Kim looked rad as hell coming out and just like she just torpedoed herself into Awesome Kong, and that was a really cool moment. But overall, the matches were a lot of fun. The thing that stands out the most though are the gimmicks of the matches.
Yeah.
The first one being the steel cage with the lights around. Do you have them written down?
I have them written down. They were a Christmas cage match, a double North Pole match, a Santa's Workshop street fight, Silent Night, Bloody Night, and the Grab the Reindeer ladder match.
Ooh, I know what my least favorite match was.
What?
Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Yeah, not live up to the awesome title.
No.
Best named match, worst match.
Yeah, for sure. Because looking at Dustin Rhodes during this time is so sad. It is so sad. He is in the Black Rain gear. He's very out of shape. Like he's rocking double chins in this very tight silver getup.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to see how well he's doing now.
Yes.
So, and I think I've seen videos of how he definitely wasn't in the best mental state in 2007 dressing as Black Rain either.
Can I ask?
But Abyss is cool.
Yeah, a question, because I tried not to research anybody. If I knew them, I knew them, and if I didn't know them, I didn't know them.
Okay.
But there was one wrestler who, when they came out, I got excited and wrote their name down, and then I was curious if they were someone famous. Shark Boy. Tell me about Shark Boy, Dylan.
Okay, I don't know much about Shark Boy, but I will do some research for you because I have looked before. Shark Boy is not, if I remember correctly, nobody really famous. His real name is Dean Matthew Roll, and this is his kind of gimmick. It looks like he was Shark Boy from independent circuit on.
I was hoping that this was like an El Generico situation where it's like, oh, and behind that mask it was a young like blah 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 blah, and I'd be like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, listen, Shark Boy came out and I was like immediately like, ooh, who's Shark Boy?
Shark Boy, it looks like Shark Boy was always Shark Boy.
Love that. And I love that for him.
He was even wrestling. Listen, Wikipedia is not always the easiest to keep up with. So if this is truthful, he was wrestling as Shark Boy in 1999 WCW. And still wrestles on the indies and made a return to TNA in 2022 apparently as Shark Boy. So Shark Boy's a TNA OG.
No notes, love that for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this was definitely a fun experience. Love seeing Santa come out at the end of the show.
Did everything feel like
it ended abruptly after being really long?
Like too improv?
Yeah.
As in so the ending segment has Santa coming out and Kurt Angle is is confronting Santa because he wants Christian Cage. None of that matters. What I'm getting at is, at one point, Kurt Angle says, "Can you hold this?" and hands him the microphone. And then, like, it's supposed to be a clothesline, and I know Santa's not a worker. I don't think that they have somebody, like, working in this Santa costume, although they might. Everything just looks so clumsy. And it wasn't just that segment. Everything just felt like real cheap and clumsy. Even when Christian came popping out of the present, like, everything felt really weird.
I don't disagree with you on that. The way that you said, like, everything felt weirdly like it was like weirdly improvised. Like, I agree. Like, I think that there is a good balance of, back in the day, everyone's complaints was that wrestling was too scripted, right? Like, and that, like, every promo was written out, and that it was like it lacked, like, the fun that you wanted in wrestling.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've heard people say, you know, you need a script. You need to know where your storyline is going and stuff. But, like, yeah, give the wrestlers the freedom where you trust that they know where they're going with things. And this really did feel like everyone backstage was like, shh, let him cook.
Like the reindeer segment went on for like 10 minutes. It was him not wanting to put this reindeer costume
That's what I mean. When
on.
He did not want to put the reindeer costume on, I moved my little mouse down to see how much time was left, and
they did it for a while.
It was like 12 minutes left, and I was like, how? Did the show end early? And they're like, fuck, we paid for 90 minutes, dude. We got to vamp. Like, it felt so long, and I was like, this is, and like I said, it just feels so childish simultaneously that I'm like, this isn't fun. Like, it's so uneven with the tone at that point that you're just like, this is like a minute thing. You know what I mean? Like, the person not wanting to put on the costume, classic bit. You know what I mean? Like, it goes all the way back to Bobby the Brain not wanting to put on the Weasel costume in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good bit.
Yeah.
It's a good bit for about a minute to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes of AJ Styles throwing a childlike tantrum to basically just put on a onesie with a giant head for like a minute. You're like, what the fuck is happening here? And then, like, Kurt Angle's belittling him. He's like, you're a loser. You were a turkey last month.
You were a turkey on Thanksgiving. Now you're a reindeer. I want you to go home and look in the mirror and say, I am not a reindeer 1,000 times. What?
Yeah.
Why?
This was like the baffling moment of everything where I was like, I don't know what's happening. Well, Dylan, I want to end this a slightly different way. Because you're
hold on. Before I just want to say, if anybody goes back and watches this, I want to forewarn you, there is a lot of stuff that does not age well. At all.
Yeah. No, for sure.
There's an entire Dudley segment that does not age well at all. The entire Christmas party segment
has some rough patches.
Does not age very well. However, was this your first experience with ODB?
Yeah.
ODB rules, man. She popped up in Ring of Honor once, and it was awesome. She teamed with the Briscoes, which fits in perfectly with her gimmick. Oh, I love ODB. She has a truck, a food truck called ODB's Meet and Greet. And meat is spelled MEAT.
That's beautiful.
So,
love that.
Fucking perfect. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is, this is coming out the Monday before WrestleMania. You've been a little bit more in the know than I have. So I just want to ask you, what match should I be the most excited for this coming weekend for WrestleMania?
Well, at the time of recording, it won't be the Randy Orton-Kevin Owens match because he just announced that he is injured and out for surgery. Kevin Owens did.
Oh, no, not KO. I was hoping you were going to say Randy. Like, Randy's out on injury, so they're going to do something else with Kevin. Because sometimes, like, do you remember, I always talk about this as being, like, one of the greatest oopsies to ever happen.
Yeah.
But there was going to be that Demon versus Sister Abigail match
Yeah.
And then Bray Wyatt had MRSA, and they had to, like, at the last second change it out for AJ Styles. And then we just got the most amazing AJ Styles versus Finn Balor match. Like
we got
a
the
top
Biz
5.
Quiz.
It was like a top 5 match for both of those wrestlers who are, like, very great wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, maybe Kevin Owens gets even a better situation. But, like, I don't give a shit what Randy Orton's doing in 2025.
No. I would say I pulled up a match list on Wikipedia. Here's my not obvious pick, though also probably an obvious pick. I think LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu is going to be a really fun match.
Okay.
But I think the one I really do, as much as I just I turned heel on the guy, I think the Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins triple threat is going to be fun.
Oh,
I think
that sounds like a really good collection of people that'll do something crazy. So
I think that's going to be so much fun. And even though I think that, again, revealing at the time of recording this, last night, CM Punk's like favor, he had like that favor from Paul Heyman. His favor is that Paul Heyman has to be in his corner for WrestleMania. And I think I've reached a point in my age of watching wrestling where, like, that shit means nothing to me. I'm like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck cares about that at all?
Well, because also, like, okay, Paul Heyman's in your corner. That still doesn't mean Paul Heyman's not going to fuck you. He's just going to fuck you closer to where you are now.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to do it from the other side of the ring.
So, like, one of the not necessarily rumors, but one of the things that everybody is thinking is going to happen is that Paul Heyman's going to turn on both Reigns and CM Punk and align with Seth Rollins. And I personally think, like, a Seth Rollins Paul Heyman, like, friendship is hilarious. Like, that's fucking money.
I
That'd
support
be so
that.
much fucking
I support
fun.
that. All right. Well, Dylan.
Yeah.
Happy WrestleMania, buddy.
Dude, happy WrestleMania.
Whoa, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Have a happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you that Michelob Ultra is giving you the chance to win tickets to the NBA Finals. That's right, the 2025 NBA Finals. Just head to MichelobUltra.com/NBA Finals. Michelob Ultra courtside NBA Finals sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents, excluding Maryland residents. 21 up. Begins at 9 a.m. EST on February 16, 2025. Ends on May 5th, 2025. See official rules at MichelobUltra.com/rules for price and details. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
You've been lost in the woods for hours now, stumbling around in the dark. You come around the bend and see two people roasting marshmallows over a roaring fire. They see you coming into the clearing and gesture over to pull up a log. Welcome to Campfire Ashes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jess. Join us as we tell each other our originally written spooky stories around the campfire and then dive into the lore and legends that inspired them. Is it something that goes bump in the night? Is it something menacing lurking past the tree line? Or is it just weird and otherworldly? You'll find it here on Campfire Ashes.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or right here on the Geekscape Network.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.